Everyone in St. Louis knows about this. And also this. But not everybody knows about this uncompleted project in North City. It's called Cementland. These are all projects of the mastermind artist and St. Louis legend Bob Cassily, whose death became the center of controversy over whether or not he was murdered. More on that later. Let's dive into the life of the genius sculptor and see all the amazing contributions he's made to the city. Every sculpture, statue, structure, and landscape featured throughout this video was created by Bob Cassily. They are scattered throughout the city and the rest of the United States. I'll try my best to get in as many as I can, but there are so many. Bob was born and grew up in Webster Groves, and he attended my alma mater, Chaminade, in 8th grade. Then he went to Vianney, where he graduated high school. Go Griffins. Bob made this statue for them. It was said he often skipped school to learn how to be a sculptor from Rudolph Guarini, who also created many famous St. Louis sculptures. He then studied art at Fontbonne University. In a famous story, Bob showed his love for art on his honeymoon in 1972 in the Vatican City. Someone tried to attack Michelangelo's Pieta statue with a hammer, and Bob sprung into action and took him down. Soon he became a well-known local artist, known for creating all these amazing animal sculptures. St. Louisans famously know him now for creating a project in 1993 when he bought the International Shoe Building. He then renovated it into this crazy playground we know today as the City Museum. It was named as one of the great public spaces in the world in 2005. This place is amazing though if you've never been. I absolutely love coming here. I even had my prom here back in high school. Everyone left that night down this rainbow slide, and it wasn't a great idea for all the girls with their dresses flipping up, and of course there was a huge crowd of teenage boys waiting at the bottom. With the City Museum being an overwhelming success, he set his eyes on a new project. That would be Cementland. This would be a giant cement and machinery adult playground located at the North Riverfront in St. Louis. It was said to mimic the excitement and fun you'd have with friends as a kid or teenager exploring abandoned and strange places. He bought this 54-acre property which used to be a cement factory, and he let his imagination run wild. I can't exactly go onto the property without risking a trespassing charge, but I will put some images up on screen of what it looks like inside. There are also a ton of videos on YouTube of urban explorers going throughout this property. Highly recommend to watch those. I can show you the sights from the outside as well as the view of the city from the property. Bob Cassily was quoted as saying it was the best view of the city in his opinion, but the sad ending to this St. Louis legend came to an end with much controversy. In 2011, Bob Cassily was found dead in his bulldozer while working on Cementland. The News and the medical examiner quickly came to a conclusion that it was an accident, saying that his bulldozer had rolled down a hill. But in the expert opinion of Dr. Arthur Combs, the extent of Cassily's injuries do not match that of a bulldozer accident. He claims that Cassily was intentionally beaten to death because the ribs on both sides of his body were broken, which could not have come from a single blow of a bulldozer rolling over. He also allegedly had defensive injuries on his hands, which might show he was fighting off an assailant, and the laceration on his head was caused by an object that was not apparently inside the cabin of the bulldozer, and there was no obvious sign of blood, hair, and tissue that would match his injury inside the cabin. There was a pool of blood that was found elsewhere in Cementland on the ground, and this was submitted as evidence, but it did not sway the medical examiner, as they still ruled it as accidental. The investigators never established time of death, nor did they make a record of Cassily's whereabouts in the days leading up to his death. They quickly settled on it being accidental and closed the case. Cassily was a known, experienced bulldozer operator, which adds to the astonishing statistics about bulldozer deaths. According to the Riverfront Times, bulldozer deaths are extremely rare. In the 80s and 90s, there was a total of 14 bulldozer deaths as a result of rollovers, but not a single victim was found in the cabin of the bulldozer with the fractured skull like Cassily had been. In fact, all those deaths had occurred with someone being thrown out of the cabin of the bulldozer or having it fall over into water and drown. Cassily's family wanted to continue the project, but without the artistic leadership and financial backing, the family eventually sold the property to the Beelman Trucking Company in 2020. They wanted it for its strategic location next to the rail terminals and the waterfront, but so far they have not done anything to the land. Today we can still enjoy the amazing fun of the City Museum and Bob's sculptures scattered around the city, but it hurts me to think about how we were robbed of one of the greatest St. Louis artists, as well as his project that would have been a magical world of exploration and shining attraction for the city. I dream that someone out there, or perhaps a group of investors, would someday buy back the land here and finish out what Bob wanted to build with Cementland. It could be a beautiful attraction for the city and also bring back some businesses and money to this part of North City. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. I hope that when you're out and about in the city and you see one of Bob's sculptures, you can think back on how strong his legacy still is today in the city. Check back in on my page for more St. Louis content.